Ever wondered why your anime looks like shit? The answer, my friend, is bitrate. That son of a bitch. The fuck are you? Bitrate, not to be confused with bit depth, which refers to the amount of colors that can be displayed, directly affects the quality of what you're watching. Not to say that color is not important. This ain't the 50s. Specifically, bitrate is the data pass-through of what is directly contained in a video in a certain amount of time. Just by looking at the name, you can tell it's formed of bit, which is data, like megabytes, kilobytes, but in bits, not bytes. And rate, as in how much it happens in a period of time. The standard measurement is kilobits per second, and of course, higher is better and lower is worse. Want a direct example? See this DougDoug clip. We'll get into the anime a bit later.
Does that happen right now? Is the stream way lower res? Is it good? How's it look? It looks so bad. Wait, hold on. Okay, this should... Oh, 50 is the lowest. Okay, this is the lowest. Okay, this is 50 kilobytes.
Okay, so this fucking idiot just destroyed the quality of his stream and said something about resolution. Bitrate is not resolution. They have a weird relationship. Think of this. You've got one photo, standard 1080p resolution of 1 megabyte. You display that in one frame for a second at full quality. That would need 8 megabits per second, or 8000 kilobits. Make the photo 4K and that number would need to be about 4 times higher for it to look as close as possible to the original image. You can lower the bitrate and lose a bit of quality, but it would still be 4K resolution, if the video itself is 4K of course. It's like compressing a picture if you needed to take less storage space. Issue comes when you add more frames per second. Let's say you've got 24 pictures, as is the standard in movies or TV shows. Same 1 megabyte for 1080p. To display them at 24 FPS in full quality you need 8 times 24 or 192 megabits per second. Lower that and you'll start to see bending or something like data moshing, but not that intense. Basically what I showed you at the beginning. The transition of pixels won't be as fast as it should, and they will mix. That is why when you show a still frame for longer, it looks better. To sum this shit up, more bitrate equals more better, but that is also more computationally intensive and increases file size. So what you'll be looking at is the codec, which makes the quality loss of lower bitrate less noticeable. Rendering quality wise they are as follows. First is H.264, which is AVC. It is worse than H.265, which is HEVC, which itself is worse than AV1, with NVENC or hardware-specific versions being more efficient. So FPS, resolution and codec are factors you should be looking at when deciding if a bitrate value is enough. That is for individuals though. Streaming platforms do their own thing. Each one has their own settings and a lot, if not all, use variable bitrate. That means the bitrate changes according to the amount of movement and something like that. And here they are. Hopefully, there's not any explicit information on the bitrate values of streaming platforms, but I try to gather some things. They seem to be okay, objectively speaking, so there won't be many problems with the quality of what you're watching. This is the part where I bamboozle you. If the anime or show you watch looks like ass, it means you pirated it. Congrats, here's your eye patch and you won't be needing that lag. Come, give it here. Pirating websites usually use third-party file hosting services. This means that the deciding factor is the host of those services, and they won't let you have a lot of data because not only do they have to feed you your daily dose of drugs, shows, they also have to feed millions of others, and their pot for drugs, shows, is not infinite. Now let's try this again. The pirating website uses another website for the video. Those guys can't hold all the data in the world. The video is compressed to a smaller file size, losing quality, and further losing quality based on traffic. Good? Great? Never better? That's the spirit. Now let's actually look at some examples. But before we do that, I'd like to ask you to like and subscribe if you want, and comment any mistakes I made. If there's any big issues that this video has, I'll pin you. Here I'll have a comparison between pirated, official streaming, and Blu-ray. See if you can spot the difference. It's not that big a deal, but once you start to notice it, you're gonna be bothered by it. There's also this post on Reddit, on the anime subreddit, where you have more information about how bitrate is handled between multiple streaming services. I'll link it down below so you can check it out if you want. I'm not gonna go through everything. If you want to know more, do come here, give it a look. Now this one is kinda like shitting on Funimation, and as I know, Funimation has been bought by Crunchyroll and they've basically merged. I don't know if they changed the encoder settings they had, so the Funimation shows that were added onto Crunchyroll may look worse than the ones that were natively on Crunchyroll, but I don't know for sure, so if you do know, leave it in the comments. So the first here comparison is one between Funimation and Amazon. Here on screen you have an example from Funimation. I believe this is from Blue Reflection Ray, as is written here. So as you can easily tell, it's very blurry, very pixelated around here, especially in parts that I believe the character would be moving through, because down here you can see it's quite clear, and only the part of the screen where I suppose the character would be moving is the one more pixelated. So let's compare this Funimation version to the one from Amazon, which is this, and you can see there's quite a big difference. I don't need to highlight everything, you just... wow, so big. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's what Bitrate can do. It can shit over the quality of an image, especially in movement. Let's go for another example. Here we have this girl, which, you see, the edges, the contour of everything is very jagged. Over here you see there's even a bit of blur. Her face is also affected, and I believe you could say something about the background, but we don't know how much movement there is in here, so we just need to compare this to Amazon's version. Yep. The character now actually looks normal, and the background looks a bit more clear. You can understand everything better. Not to say that the blurry version here is that bad, but you would really prefer having this version. Let's try another one and go for the third one here. You have picture of the sky with some nets down there. They have tiny holes and lies about, so that is basically where the bitrate can struggle. It's very similar to how upscalers work in games. It doesn't have enough information to work with, the codecs don't. So they kind of mash everything together and introduce pixelation, and it looks like this. What am I supposed to highlight? The whole image looks like shit. How? Just look at the good one. See? Night and day. Which one would you prefer? I don't know. This one or this one? How do you fucking do comparisons? I don't even know. Back here, another comparison. Here we have Crunchyroll, Funimation and Amazon. So we can check the difference between 3 streaming services and not 2 as before. As I know, Crunchyroll and Amazon have a very similar quality, so let's go through each one and see what problems we find. There's a difference problem when switching to Funimation. The characters lose sharpness, and the background here also starts mashing together. You can see the individual particles. Also, the particles over here look like shit now. Not that much of a loss compared to native, or not that much of a loss compared to the normal version. I'm too used to upscalers. And between Crunchyroll and Amazon, there is not that big a difference. I say Crunchyroll looks a bit better. On here and on this haze, I think you can make out the texture a bit better on Crunchyroll again. Let's check another one. Let's do this. There's more of that haze, and the background texture is now more detailed. We can see a bit better what changes there may be. So Crunchyroll, let's go now to Amazon, because they're more so the same. Not that big a difference, as I said. Now I can't really say Crunchyroll is better. They just look pretty much the same. But when we go to Funimation, still not that big a difference. Perhaps they used more bitrate here? Perhaps variable bitrate saved their asses. Yeah, there really isn't that much of a loss in image quality. You can see more about this area because there's a gradient of colors that doesn't really have much information to go of, so it's kinda combining the colors. See there? Yeah, that's about it.